No one is thirstier than incarcerated men. By the time most of them get out, they are deprived and so horny. So, what if I started sending nudes, plugging a faceless OnlyFans by writing the username on the white strip portion and seeing what could come of it? Inmates would trade him or pay him for my photos. Then they would pass the photos to someone else, and it essentially started an underground Playboy-esque ring. Welcome back to Delve Deck Stories. Today we are reading some taboo confessions. Our first story is from Anonymous, and it's "What's something most people don't know about you?" from the original deck. I sent nudes to inmates to promote my OnlyFans.
Wow.
I don't understand how that helps, but I'm excited to find out.
Do
inmates get OnlyFans?
Wow.
It's no secret that you can write to prisoners who are incarcerated. Hell, you can even get married to prisoners when they're incarcerated. Just take a look at Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
Yeah, she's crazy. She was engaged in jail, got married in jail. Then she got out of jail to the guy she got married to, divorced him, and went back to the man she was engaged with, and now she has his baby.
What started as incredibly innocent turned into something I could never see coming. And I just need you to remember that it is 2025, it is consensual, and I am trying to make my bag. I started writing to this inmate when I was fresh out of college, and like any naive 22-year-old, when he started flirting with me and asking me to put money on his books so he could buy more pens and paper to write me, I did. Eventually, we spiraled into a whole prison relationship, all without him even knowing what I looked like.
The biggest question for me is, how did she find the inmate?
I do feel like...
out of college. Like, what was that the first thing she did?
There's like write-in inmate programs you can do, and a lot of people, I've been seeing it a lot on socials, where it's like you can write an inmate, and I guess it's to help people feel less alone. Clearly, this morphed, and they're really not alone now.
He kept asking me during calls and in letters to give him something of me to look at. But since I wasn't super keen on him knowing what I looked like, I really only wanted the long-distance companionship. I sent him a body photo instead. I feel like you're dating them and you don't want them to know what you look like. Like, you don't want them to. Not like even the fact that they don't know. Just like you're like, I don't want
you
them
to find me.
Yeah. Like, well, then why are you dating them?
Yeah. Very, very odd.
For the companion,
So she can be like, I fixed him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He liked it, obviously, and that's when he began asking me for more and more. I didn't mind. I didn't even care that he was probably showing his other inmate friends. I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, but how could you... Never mind.
If anything, I know they need it more than I do, and I was remaining anonymous, so really what was the harm?
She's such a public servant.
Mm-hmm.
She really is.
Eventually, the photos got more and more risque, and he was a very happy pen pal. This is when my business idea came to me. No one is thirstier than incarcerated men. By the time most of them get out, they are deprived and so horny. If you say so.
We wouldn't know.
So, what if I started sending nudes, plugging a faceless OnlyFans by writing the username on the white strip portion and seeing what could come of it? I started sending my pen pal many Polaroid nudes, and it started a business venture not only for him, but me as well. Inmates would trade him or pay him for my photos. Then they would pass the photos to someone else, and it essentially started an underground Playboy-esque ring. After a few months, I did start to get several fans to my account. I made sure to keep the price low so that they were able to buy in, since I'm sure you don't come out of prison with tons of moolah.
And after 3 months, we jack up the price.
Yeah.
She's so generous.
Honestly, this is,
Some people just really want to pop their pussies, and like that is okay.
I think, she's getting off on the voyeurism. And
she's a public servant. Yeah.
It was a way for the photos to come to life for them, and I could make my bag. My pen pal would even start to take requests from other inmates on what poses they'd like to see, and I would do my best to satisfy them. I have a roster of men who have been waiting to be my correspondent and eagerly take up the position to send me letters with their requests. Okay. For some reason, I was like, it's the same pen pal, and he's just like getting back into prison.
Oh, yeah.
To like.
Oh, I see.
I was like, well, this.
He's like, I don't have any costs, and I'm getting paid to do this.
Yeah, he's
Prison
like, this
is
is
the place
actually a
for
good
me.
situation.
Maybe I
for
wonder
me.
if she like specifically picks out people with low level crime that'll only be in for like a year or two.
Maybe.
So that way she can,
Let us know.
She's a businesswoman, entrepreneur.
Say what you want about sex work, but I am employed, safe, and sexy, and basically doing something to help out our friends behind bars.
Yeah.
Slightly taboo, but something I am happy to keep doing. It's great for my confidence, too. Yeah, I mean, do whatever. I don't care what people do. Live
Really
your best
don't.
life.
Sex work is work, pop your
Yeah.
pussy if it's fun, stay safe.
Our next story is from Citizen Jane, and it's what's something most people don't know about you from the original deck. I am a 75-year-old sex worker.
Whoa, we have a theme, everybody.
Huh?
Woo!
Yeah, let's go.
Wow.
I'd be into it. I'd be curious. That's how I know it would work. Apparently it does work.
I mean, some people are into people of all ages.
Dude, she's like, got a whole portfolio of clientele at the old folks home.
Old folks,
And they
homes,
are
they
horny.
love to bone
Yeah,
there.
a lot of STDs there.
Really?
Yeah.
I always thought the libido and everything went
No.
down.
No,
It's
no.
the highest rate of STDs is old folks' homes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Uh-huh.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I
The
have
more
such.
you know.
I literally have such a thinly veiled understanding of the elderly, I guess.
Oh, yeah, dude.
No, they be fucking.
Mm-hmm.
I have been a longtime fan of reading and writing erotica and finally decided to monetize my hobby last year. This all started when I was at the beauty salon and overheard some woman young enough to be my granddaughters talking about OnlyFans. And one of them said she has a faceless account that she's used to make thousands of dollars.
Are these stories tied together? Is this the faceless account from the
Yeah,
jail?
it's-
Yeah, maybe.
Faceless accounts, man. That's
That's-
got to be the way to go.
All right, I should start one up.
Yeah,
Do
do
it.
it, Gabe.
Just for weird photos. Like, knee,
Oh,
toes.
Yeah, I
People
feel
into
like
that.
you're acting like people wouldn't like that.
Oh, yeah,
Gabe.
people love it.
You write their name on that part of your body.
Oh,
Ooh,
adopt
what
it.
if
You can
he
adopt
writes
mine.
mine
Yeah.
on my upper thigh.
Adopt my right scapula, please.
She was telling her friends she gets paid to do private dirty talk sessions. Upon hearing this, I thought to myself, I bet I could do that.
Yeah, you can, queen.
Yeah. I went straight home and started researching OnlyFans and how to make money with a faceless account. After doing some research, I set up my account and started promoting it around Reddit and got my first customers. I didn't want to tell anyone when I got started in case it didn't work out, but a few months into my OnlyFans journey, I made almost 10 grand.
Damn.
When I started getting deposits from my little venture, I knew I would have to let my husband in on my scheme.
Wait. Okay, we don't even know what kind of OnlyFans content she's putting forward, but her husband didn't know.
Yeah. He's always been open-minded, so I wasn't too worried about him being mad. One night after dinner, I told him we were going to have a little extra cash coming our way. My husband asked what from, and I told him it turns out I figured out how to profit from being a potty mouth. My husband was intrigued, and I showed him my account and what I'd been up to. He thought it was the most amazing thing ever. We giggled together, looking through my body of work, and talked about how funny it is that the men paying me probably have no idea I am old enough to be their mother. Okay, so I think she's just
Okay.
she's doing voice dirty talk.
Fascinating.
Because she writes erotica and stuff.
Oh, that would make so much sense.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's so in her element.
I love this for her.
She is so in her element.
That's great.
That is fantastic.
I didn't realize.
That's like passive
that
income
makes
of
sense
reading your
to
own
me.
audiobooks.
It makes sense that would be a thing, but I wouldn't think
Okay.
about it.
Agreed.
And I love this for you. This has been a perfect retirement side hustle for me and paid for our upcoming summer vacation. I worked office jobs my whole career, and this is the most fun way I've ever made money. Love this for you. Great time. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. Our next story is from Mary, and it's what was just a phase for you from the original deck. I was in a polygamist marriage.
All right. Who would do it? Raise your hands. Okay.
I feel like polygamist is different than polyamory,
It's
a little bit more misogynistic.
Yeah.
So I'm just like a hard pass on that.
Yeah, I barely like men as it is, so why would I want to compete for my husband?
Also, it's just like one more person in the relationship. It's just so much work.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll focus on one, and I'm good with that. You know.
I just feel like also if I'm going to be in this situation, like, oh, you get to have multiple partners, but I don't.
Right.
That's not fair.
That's a good point.
I'm not sure how taboo this is to anyone inside of Utah, but I know that it's not normal to be married to a man that has more than one wife. Is this legal in Utah?
I don't actually
Maybe
know.
it was at some point.
I don't know.
Okay.
There's
maybe
that
we'll
show,
out.
Sister Wives, and I think he only has one legal marriage, and the rest are just kind of like
they're like
a choice.
Yeah. Okay. I grew up going to a small Mormon church with a great youth group, or so I thought. And when I turned 18, I was told by my youth directors that God wasn't calling me to go on a mission, but he was calling me to get married, and they already knew the perfect candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Also, candidate, like the way that you're like, look, this is what God chose. He's a good candidate for you.
I don't like that.
He's in the running.
Mm-hmm.
Contrary to popular belief, polygamy isn't allowed in the mainstream Mormon church. Only the fundamentalists practice it. So when I was told my marriage match would come with me losing my access to the temple, I was incredibly confused.
Oh, no.
But I believed, why would her youth people tell her to do this if it also meant she was going to lose access to the temple?
Because she's even more
they're
Mormon now.
Yeah,
she's
they're the crazy.
Yeah.
She's evolved.
I feel like it's a
I
pipeline
see.
almost, like akin to...
Oh, yeah. I
Maybe
mean, you're like,
some
this youth
trafficking.
group, and it's like a grooming.
Yeah, the second you turn legal, they're like, and now it's time.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Remember all those stories we told about God? He's now your God.
Because in the Bible, God has a lot of wives, too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But I believed I was doing my duty to God and that this was the right thing. I married Roland, who was 20 years my senior.
Ew, yeah.
Roland sounds like an old person's name.
Yeah.
Sounds like a very old Mormon name.
Yeah.
Only after I had the ring on my finger was I brought back to his house, which was massive. He carried me through the threshold, and I kept waiting for it to feel like my purpose had finally been achieved. But I was deflated once I realized I wasn't the only one in the house. He had 3 other wives. I can't believe that.
They didn't tell you
Yeah,
that.
like how did you... I guess it's arranged, but like that's crazy. Rebecca, 36, Sarah, 29, and Lily, 25. I was the newest and youngest addition to his wives. And I'm not going to lie, I was incredibly grateful there were other women there. I committed to my wifely duties, but always relied on them for mental safety and support. I even came to enjoy being one of his brides eventually, and had 3 children by him, all of them looking incredibly similar to their half-siblings. I was 28 when Roland took on another bride, and I realized that I never felt any closer to God. I only felt closer to being alone if I didn't earn his approval. I confessed my thoughts to Rebecca, Sarah, and Lily, and they told me I just needed to pray and I would be saved again from my thoughts. For the first time in my relationship with them, something didn't feel right anymore. I felt I was outgrowing my attitude towards wifely duties, Mormonism, Roland, and this life. I made my mind up, and for my 2 daughters and 1 son, I knew that I had to leave this life before they were fathered into it as well. Getting a divorce was rather easy since I technically couldn't sign a legal marriage certificate since Roland had already signed one with Rebecca, his first wife. But emotionally attaching from that way of life was a struggle. I had to reach out to a friend I'd had in the church before my marriage, and she showed up to help me move all of my things and children almost in the cover of darkness due to Roland not wanting to lose a wife. This sounds, dangerous, honestly, like scary and dangerous.
Yeah. I think she's underplaying it just a little bit.
Yeah, because I can't imagine that he would allow this.
But I feel like it's always like you usually hear this type of story, regardless of like Mormonism is like any woman who's in this, especially if they have a kid, they're like, well, I've got to stick around because like I need to make sure that my kid is safe. And then they're like, they've got some friend who like rolls up, no lights on, and then they like basically evacuate and run for the hills.
It's so scary. I did enjoy being in a community, I have to admit, and it wasn't like being one of many wives was the worst thing in the world, but I had to want more for me and my kids. Who knows what the future holds, but I know my daughters won't need to be married at 18, and we are definitely redefining our relationship not only with God, but life as well. I hope you stay safe, because that sounds scary.
Like a lot of unlearning.
Yeah, a lot of unlearning, and I just like don't trust like fundamentalist churches and religions to not do crazy things.
No, if you want to look for the predators, they go where the prey are. That's where I think the worst people hide, in plain sight. So good on you. You got a lot of life to experience. You're only 28. Yay.
Yay. Our next story is from Anonymous, and it's what's something you actually do want advice about from the original deck. I'm dating my uncle, and I don't know if we should tell the rest of my family.
Okay.
Immediate advice, assuming this is blood related or whatever. You know, it doesn't matter.
Call the police.
Go.
Stop.
Girl, you in danger.
I suppose I should start off by saying that I am adopted.
Okay. See, I knew there was going to be
that doesn't make it better.
Yeah. It's not excusable, especially if you've
excusable.
been in the life for probably as long as growing up.
Yeah.
Creepy. You were just waiting for her to be oven ready, you nasty.
So my dad's younger brother is not actually related to me. We also didn't grow up very close with my dad's side of the family because my dad isn't a great guy and left my mom and me when I was 12 and later ended up in prison.
Wait.
Did he end up in prison and then he was getting the...
Wait a minute.
It all exists in the same universe.
This is all the same universe.
This is our multi-cross universe point.
Wow.
So she's adopted.
Look out, Marvel.
No, he's adopted.
No, wait.
She's adopted,
but her dad is in jail, so she grew up not knowing her dad's side of the family.
So the brother is blood related
to the dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she's not blood related to anybody.
Right. Yeah. I remember meeting Steve a few times when I was younger, and he was always nice to me, but that's it. I just I don't understand being an adult and watching, even if you didn't know this child very well, but like you saw this person as a literal child while you were an adult, and then you're going to date them when they become an adult. Like that's, I don't know. I don't know about that.
I'd never known about that. I remember seeing that trope in like movies or in books, and I was like, guys, it's so weird. Like that's so weird and predatory. It's so weird.
It's just, I don't know. I couldn't get that out.
I would never be able to look at you because I'm like, were you just looking at me this whole time?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Probably. There was a point at which, or maybe from the beginning, who knows?
Yeah.
The uncle was like...
It's creepy. What's going on? Then, about a year ago, one of my cousins on that side of the family invited me to a reunion for my grandma's 80th birthday.
Oh, no.
They said I was still family in their eyes and that even though my dad wouldn't be there, everyone would love to see me. I decided to go, and when I saw Steve again for the first time in 10 years, I was shocked by how attractive he was.
Oh, no.
I'm like, this is...
So she's kind of initiating this by saying she's like opening the vibes and the energy for like that to happen.
Yeah.
So then this brings me to my next point, that men are easy. Because he might have had some conflicting, oh, that's my brother's daughter.
I probably shouldn't do anything. She's like, hey, want to bang? And he's like,
oh, okay. Dude, she came on to me.
Yeah.
What was I supposed to do? Say no?
We ended up chatting for most of the night, and when I got home, I saw that he had followed me on Instagram.
Oh, no.
I followed him back, and we started DMing each other. The messages started off innocent enough, but eventually...
Of course they did.
Send me a photo. I forgot what you look like. That's just your face.
I just want to show your cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah. But eventually they turned flirty, and I finally asked Steve if he'd want to hang out sometime.
Oh, my God.
Okay, here we are thinking it was the guy, and it turns out that, again, she's, initiating these moments.
I don't
He
even
clearly
know.
has no backbone, though, if he's entertaining it.
Nobody in this situation, I think.
He's like,
I think it's
technically,
twist.
legally,
yeah.
you're not related. That's what he's thinking.
He agreed, and we went and got dinner. I know it sounds crazy, but we took things very slowly and have now been officially dating for about 4 months. He's 26 years older than me, which I know is a lot when you're in your 20s, but we have so much in common, and he's really respectful
That's
of
If
me.
he has things in common with a 20-year-old, that's crazy. He's 46 or something. He might be 50.
He might be in his 50s.
No.
But,
He
the
doesn't
idea-
have anything in common with a 20-year-old. I don't have,
to hear like,
What?
oh, I know 26 is old when you're in your 20s. Like, no, 26 is a big gap no matter what age you're in.
Yeah.
I get that, like, as you get older, like, significantly older, you're probably like, we're both in our, like, what are you,
I'm
70?
50,
You're 96?
Yeah, like, you're
But, like, it's just like...
you're in your 70s, maybe.
You're like, oh, I know that it's, like, taboo. It's like, no, it's not just taboo. It's, like, gross, and also it would be old no matter what.
Yeah.
Like whether you're 30 and you're 56, whether you're 40 and you're 66, it's just
like if you met way later in life, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, if you weren't his brother's adopted daughter.
A person in their 40s or 50s does not have anything in common with someone in their 20s.
The only thing he has in common with her is the lived experiences he should be giving her wisdom and advice about.
Yeah.
Not giving her wisdom and advice.
And also just like straight up robbing her of those experiences.
And her side of the family.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be tainted forever
it's
now.
Be messy. And
can't wait for the family reunion.
Also, there's like the whole thing with her dad being like not really in her life, and like that's another layer.
Oh, and that's
to
his
this.
brother, and it's like daddy issues, XYZ.
Oh, no.
Nah.
Wait till daddy gets out of prison.
Daddy's gonna go right back into prison. That's for damn sure.
My friends say I have daddy issues and need to leave this alone, and maybe they are right, but I love Steve so much. However, I'm terrified about anyone else in the family finding out. On one hand, I don't spend that much time with them anyway, so how weird could it be? But on the other hand, I know this is frowned upon for so many reasons. I just, like, you are young and you should be living your life as a young person.
Yeah.
You should be making different kinds of mistakes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big one.
And if this guy were as mature or whatever, like, he would absolutely not have entertained it at all. Like, this is crazy.
He needs to shut this down. He needs to be the adult in this situation.
Yeah, because who do you think, when it gets revealed, who do you think is going to be blamed? It's not going to be him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That seductress daddy issues. She's just a heathen. Like, come on,
I know. She's
girl.
never really around the family. She comes to the reunion.
Yeah,
and
you're
then,
She's not even blood related. It's probably from her side of
Yeah.
the family in terms of like where she came from.
Yeah, what's wrong with her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this just
Not what's wrong with this
just
uncle.
messy, and I would recommend not doing that anymore.
Very obviously
but
not enough good people in either of these people's lives to like speak on this.
Yeah. Our next story is from Anonymous, and it's what's something you want advice about from the original deck. My ex situationship got me addicted to her fetish. Okay. I was seeing this woman last year, let's call her L, who was a self-described pervert. I'm
a perv. What can I say?
All right.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Prior to dating her, I was always kind of a vanilla dude, but horniness plus attractive woman equals willingness to be open-minded. Gabe, why are men stupid?
If I was smart enough to answer that, I would.
Excellent answer.
Elle told me she was into BDSM, and during one of our hookups, she got me to wear her underwear.
Oh.
Much to my surprise, it turned me on, and we started doing this as a regular thing. We stopped seeing each other because she got into a grad program on the other side of the country and moved, but it was probably for the best. The chemistry was rock solid, but we didn't have enough in common for it to lead to anything more serious. After Elle left, I couldn't stop thinking about our hookups. I finally broke down and ordered myself some women's underwear online so I could wear them when I'm alone. I thought maybe I could just wear them for a bit, get it out of my system, and get over it, but no, now this is a whole thing for me. I find it hard to enjoy myself without them. I do want to get back on the dating scene and find Mrs. Right, but I also have no idea how I am going to roll out this newfound kink of mine.
You need someone who's like not a dominatrix, but definitely a top. Like, I think the part of the kink is the like degradation of look at you in my panties type of thing.
Yeah, I don't think that.
I think that's hard.
In terms of like as far as kinks to have to spring on someone, this doesn't seem like too crazy of a kink to have sprung on you. And, like, maybe there will definitely be women who will not be into this and, like, that they're not going to be right for you.
I also think that the guy will probably have to, like, actively seek out that type of community.
For sure.
Because it'd probably be pretty rare. Or you also would have to, like, get that person into it, and then it becomes just, like...
It's a cycle.
It becomes
just
like epidemic of they're like wearing the underwear, forcing me to wear the underwear. I'm going to tell this other guy to wear the underwear. I need her to tell me to wear the underwear. So it's like this.
And eventually we're all wearing this one woman's underwear.
All in the shade cotton candy pink with frills.
I do not want a new girlfriend getting the wrong idea either. I am not gay or bi or otherwise interested in wearing women's clothing. It really is just the underwear for me. How do I get a new girlfriend on board without scaring her off?
Go to Reddit, get on the fetish side of it, and let people know.
There's fetish, kink, dating apps.
You just gotta be like Gabe said, just be specific with it.
Craigslist?
Yeah.
They have it on Craigslist?
One time I was on Craigslist. This is when I still lived in Reno, and I was looking for a job, and I saw a job for like $300 for the day. I was like, oh, what's this? And I clicked on it. Keep in mind, I'm 16 or 17, and it's I will pay to take someone's anal virginity.
And they're only paying $300?
I know. I was like, damn.
Doesn't even cover the cleanup.
Yeah. I was like, how are you going to confirm they're an anal virgin too, dude?
Yeah.
He was like, middle-aged, white man, medium stature, decent build, blah, 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 blah. I was like, brother, I don't think you want a woman.
Yeah.
That wasn't a dig at anyone, okay? I'm just saying, I think he's looking for the wrong things and going to Craigslist to find it. Anyway, weird.
Our last story is from Anonymous, and it's, what's the hardest decision you ever made from the original deck? I helped my dad end his life. That would be very hard.
Yeah.
Whenever I think about this, I feel so much guilt, but also know I did the right thing. My dad had multiple sclerosis and stuck around as long as he could. Unfortunately, there is no cure for MS, so we both knew this would eventually kill him. When he was first diagnosed, he told me that he didn't want to suffer longer than necessary, and that he needed me to promise him that when he decided it was time for him to go, that I would support that decision. Well, that time unfortunately came. He was running out of money for medication, and his quality of life was essentially non-existent. I had a feeling he was going to tell me it was his time soon, so I wasn't surprised when he finally did. What did surprise me was that he wanted my help with it. Unfortunately, there was no legal way for him to end things other than discontinuing treatment, which would involve a great deal of suffering before he passed.
That's so cruel.
Yeah.
That's so cruel. Like, it's like kind of the thing of like so many debates on controlling people's bodies. Like, if I'm on my way out, don't tell me that I have to either do it this way or die in complete agony.
Yeah.
Like, I should control how I get to go. Especially if I know it's coming. That's weird.
Yeah, in this type of situation, it feels like unethical to force someone to suffer.
For you to tell me how to suffer.
Yeah. He told me that he knew he was asking me for a lot, but that he didn't think he could manage to do it by himself. That he wanted to be sure that he was taking enough to successfully overdose and fall asleep painlessly. I cried so hard and protested that he couldn't ask me to do that, but eventually gave in. I knew he was serious, and I knew I had promised him I would allow him to go when he was ready. Without getting into too many details, I mixed up a concoction for my dad to drink, saying my goodbyes, and held him as he went to sleep. It feels awful that I did it, but I know that it was the right thing to do. People deserve to pass away peacefully and with dignity, and I'm thankful I was able to give my dad that.
Me too. I'm glad it was you.
Yeah, that's so sad and hard.
But what an act of honor and service to be trusted by someone and to do that.
Yeah. That is it for Delve Deck Stories. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this episode, you can like, subscribe, and check out some of our other videos. And if you have a story that you would like to share with us, you can go to share.delvedeck.com and we might read it on an episode.